Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today we are in Council District 5 with our amazing Councilwoman, Charmaine Crabb. Thank you for hosting me here today.
You're welcome. Glad to have you.
I tell you, we live in District 5. And of course, we have been there more than 20-something years, and you have been our council person for several terms now. And I just want to thank you for the attention and the care that you give us. I can honestly say, you know, I'm high maintenance, and those that know me know I expect excellence because that's the way our daddy raised us. But whenever we call you, there's a concern about city services or anything that's going on in our subdivision. You're always there. National Night Out, you attend when I don't even attend because sometimes I'm away doing other things. But you were actually even doing that before you were elected. You attended.
I think I attended, when I attended your subdivision's National Night Out, is the first time that I announced that I was going to run for this seat.
Right, and you were not elected at that time.
No.
But you had been the realtor in that subdivision.
I had sold some houses in that subdivision. I managed some houses in that subdivision.
Right.
And I knew you and Tolly from the Freeze campaign, and I just felt comfortable there.
Right. And one of my longtime neighbors, because we live in a court, you have sold him multiple houses.
Yes, I have.
We won't call his name. He's a business owner,
Yeah.
a wonderful entrepreneur. And we didn't realize that we knew each other like that. And you were like, oh, I've been their realtor for a very long time.
Very long time.
Right. And so besides being our wonderful available, even at strange hours when I text or call.
Us realtors have really strange hours. So
Well, but even in your role as counsel.
Well, I think that that's a good bleed over because,
Right.
you know, realtors, you know, they have to answer their phones. They have to,
Right.
you know, take
And a
care of
council
issues
person,
and-
because I understand
the
that
same thing.
it's not the same in every district, I'm told. But I can honestly say, any time of day or night when I've reached out to you, whether it was a real estate question or city services, you were responsive, and I appreciate that. And of course, my other neighbors, they know that too. Some met you when we were keeping the freeze, and I think that's very important. And you had a up close understanding and a very good method of being able to explain to the citizens why the freeze was important. Because you've been in real estate for about 3 decades now, pretty much. And there was some concern and confusion when people say it's fair, it's not fair. And I just remembered, and we laugh about this, that you and I stood on multiple corners. And we were not ladies of the night, but we were out on the corners on behalf of the citizens and those that had worked many, many years to try to have a home, and we wanted to ensure that they were not displaced.
Right.
Because we had people coming in from other places that really did not understand how that worked. But before...
But look at what's happening on our state level now. They're trying to figure out some way to give that tax relief to homeowners.
Right.
And they keep on, you know, throwing darts at the dartboard, and
Right.
they keep on missing.
Right.
When we have a perfect example of what they could do, they could take our freeze
Right.
and they could duplicate it
Right.
in other cities throughout the
Just
state.
use it as a template.
Yes.
But I think a lot of them don't understand how to break it down into layman's terms. So John Q. Public understands, but then those that want to legislate, they need to be educated well enough on it so they can clearly explain why it's fair and why it's not.
Well, I've taken it to our delegation a couple times now. When they started doing this on a state level,
Right.
it's like, just show them our freeze language.
Right.
Just add that to the,
right.
It would be simple.
Right, but some of them haven't studied it well enough, so when people ask them those trick questions, they don't know how to answer. But before we get further into that, because I want you to share that again, I think that's important for this season that we're in. We're going to go to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Whole Patient Healthcare. Dr. Jada Rimes-Bacote is board certified in family medicine. She believes the best patient care includes practical, individualized lifestyle changes. Located at 1338 13th Avenue, Columbus, 706-641-2080, or visit wholepatienthealthcare.com.
The state of Georgia averages 5 fatalities a day for motor vehicle crashes. Out of all 50 states, Georgia ranks 21st in impaired driving fatalities. Remember, buzz driving is impaired driving.
Be a team player, designated sober driver.
Hi, I'm Sheriff Greg Countryman. Make the right choice. The ball is in your hands. Stay sober and don't get pulled over.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm enjoying this wonderful visit in Council District 5 with my counselor, Charmaine Crabb, who's also an associate broker.
I am.
You've been in the real estate business about 3 decades, helping people buy first homes, helping people buy investment properties, just doing a lot of stuff, even commercial. You're doing everything.
I've done
and property
commercial.
management.
Yeah, I do. I would say now property management is my primary responsibility, and then I do a lot of sales. I've actually sold those properties that I manage to the tenants.
That's a good thing.
I love it when I can do that. I'm currently doing
So that's
that
helping them to become homeowners.
Yes.
Yes.
That's always my goal. My goal, because I think that homeownership is empowerment.
Yes,
and
that's
I'm all
a part
about
of what?
empowering people.
And that's a part of the American dream.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And so when you can help families to take their families to the next level. And I know that you've done that, because I know I've seen people move in and out and in my subdivision, and I've seen where you sold their house to the next family, and because I've been there 20 something years. So I see you when you're not being the councilwoman, but when you're being the broker.
I had somebody call me one time, and they were looking for a place to rent, and I didn't have anything at that time, and so I said, why don't we get you pre-qualified and see if you could buy a house? And she just did not think that she could ever buy a house, because nobody in her family had ever owned a home. We got her pre-qualified.
Really?
We got her a house. We were crying our eyes out at closing.
Isn't that something?
I broke that
generational barrier.
And oh gosh, it kind of chokes me up even now thinking about it.
Yeah, so that was a big thing for her family. It was generations.
It was a psychological thing. It took her to another level that she never thought that she would get to.
Yeah. She was very happy. You all crying at the closing.
Yeah.
Did she have children and other family members?
No, she was an older single. Oh, she did have full-grown children.
Oh, so she was buying later in life. How amazing.
She was probably in her 50s.
Okay, and so that was a good time where she could just start anew.
Yes.
Something where she's raised her children, sacrificed. And probably at that time when she was raising them with so much as a single woman, she probably couldn't have, because there are a lot of hidden costs raising kids. We know that. So you were able to help her get her dream.
And I have a tenant right now who we've gone through 3 different mortgage lenders. We finally got one that has a program that can help her, and she got approved last week. We wrote up the offer, and so we're closing on that at the end of July.
Really?
Yes. So it's
a lot to celebrate.
She's very excited.
Yes, and then, but what we were also saying is we have to educate people on what being a homeowner is. It's very different from being a renter. We need to educate those that's renting on the responsibility. And you were saying, we said in a sidebar, we need to get a class, offer it, whether people come or not.
I would really like to, I think that's been a passion of mine for quite some time. I do like to educate. That's why I like to work with first-time home buyers.
Right.
Because then if you can teach them the right questions to ask and what to look for when you're buying a house, then they use that information for the rest of their lives, for every house they buy.
Right.
And I want to do that with tenants too.
Right.
Because if tenants have that information and know how to read a lease, what they're responsible for in the lease, then they work together with the landlord instead of working against
the landlord.
And it keeps costs down.
It does, but also it helps them if they've been renters when they get ready to go buy a house. Because if you got a good track record with your the company that you're renting from, then that's a good thing when you go over to the mortgage side.
Right.
Right. And then you can find a good associate broker like yourself that's really willing to help you. Because if you're not paying your rent on time and you have torn up the property, all of that stuff goes into a record. And then if people call for your references, then it's just not going to happen, And so that is very important. And then what we found was, as you were saying, you helped this single mother with adult children. She went from being a renter to a home owner. But for some that have always lived for the most of their life into subsidized housing and public housing, they move from there to single family homes in a subdivision. They need to know what the rules are. Because a lot of the subdivisions have associations, just like with us. There's limitations, which you sold a lot of houses and managed some in our subdivision. Even your fence, there are rules about the fences. You just can't put up a plaid fence because that's the trendy thing. Your fence might have to be Rio Grande, or it might have to be a wood privacy fence.
Right.
But those are all of the rules that come with living in a neighborhood.
Well, and some of the things that I've seen with people that are that have been in subsidized housing is they just call the office and things get taken care of.
And they fix it.
But see, when they come out of subsidized housing and they want to be in housing, like properties that I manage. The lease, it's not a cover all.
Right.
There's responsible. Sometimes the tenant is responsible for the lawn care or different things.
Right.
And
you even have to take your own garbage in, because if you're at public housing, you're putting it in a dumpster.
Right.
But if you're putting the blue, the green, the black garbage on the street you have to go back and get it. It can't sit there to the next week.
So that's why they need to understand the leases. And I get, as a counselor, I get a lot of people calling me complaining about conditions that they're renting from.
Right.
And so they want the landlord to take care of something. And I said, well, I'd be happy to talk to you, but I need to see your lease.
Exactly.
Because I need to know who's responsible for what. And that's what it's laid out in the lease. And so it's surprising to me how many people don't even have a copy of their lease.
Really?
I mean, that
and then when
is-
they run into a problem, they come to council. You're our council District 5 representative, and they go on the public agenda, and then it appears that someone has mistreated them when they really didn't read what they signed up for.
Exactly.
And
they
you
don't
can't-
understand what they signed up for.
But you all can't go back and fix it.
It can be resolved if I see a lease
Right.
and I can explain things to them. As a property manager, I like to sit down and explain the lease to them
On the front end.
on the front end, and give them the time and the space to ask the questions.
Right.
Because, that's what I could do right now. I'd
Right.
like to do something on a bigger scale.
Well, maybe we
to
can
help
host a meeting at the library.
That would be
I'd like
good.
to help you with that.
That'd be
If
great.
people don't come, then you can say, when they show up on the public agenda in your other life as our Council District 5 person, I've hosted community meetings so I can help people to better understand what it means to be a tenant and you are signing a lease, the difference between living in subsidized housing where you don't have these responsibilities, and what it means to be a homeowner.
I think that I could get a group, kind of like when we did the appeals,
Right.
when I got a group of realtors together to help people with their appeals.
Right.
I think I could get a group of property managers together.
Okay.
And then if they have specific issues, they can sit down with the property manager, and the property manager could go over their lease with them so that they understand their lease, because that's empowering when they know what's their responsibility and what's their landlord's responsibility, and they take care of their responsibilities, and they can bring it to the landlord's attention.
Right.
Listen, the lease does say that you're responsible for this.
and that's empowering. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to our break to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors.
Even at lower speeds, a crash between a bicyclist and motor vehicle can cause broken bones and traumatic brain injuries. Busy intersections are particularly dangerous for cyclists. Wear a helmet, stop at red lights, use hand signals, yield to pedestrians. Bike safe, bike smart.
Paid for with grant funds from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
New Horizons Behavioral Health, building better lives in the Chattahoochee Valley, providing services to persons with mental illness, developmental disabilities, and addictive diseases. Located in the Health and Human Services Building, 2100 Comer Avenue, Columbus, or call 706-596-5500. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a 5-star commercial service with satisfied customers in Georgia and South Carolina, built on the principle that every detail matters. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a new season building a family legacy. Charmaine Crabb, Associate Broker of Champions Realty. Charmaine's greatest reward is helping families achieve home ownership, which is a cornerstone of the American dream. Call Charmaine today at 706-392-6116 or visit championsrealty.com.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm enjoying this great visit with my City Council Representative Charmaine Crabb here in District 5. We're having this visit today. And in addition to being our amazing, responsive, approachable, available council person, because you know I'm high maintenance, and when I call, you answer any time of day or night. You are very well respected, a real estate professional for about 3 decades, and you are an associate broker. It's important to me because there has been some confusion. And of course, as we said in one of the earlier segments, you and I have stood on every street corner in this town, from south side to the north side, but in a good way, on behalf of the citizens that are homeowners that owned a long time. They were property owners helping to pay to build the infrastructure that the people are enjoying in this city today. So I keep running into people that tell me that the freeze is not fair. It's not fair. I disagree with them on that point.
Again, if we're not able to take your call, it's because we're trying to balance the calls. We just heard from Tyler Townsend, who's behind the mayor, behind the city manager, behind Representative Hughley. They are for getting rid of the tax freeze. We're trying to make sure that we get the other side too. Let's take the next caller, please. And that's one of the issues, whether or not there will be a legal challenge that we get rid of all the freezes. We heard Tyler Townsend say no emphatically, but there are still others, as we heard from that call, that there's a law that might cause that to happen. May I get your name? Do you want to identify yourself?
This is Charmaine Crabb. I'm the co-chair for the Citizens to Keep the Freeze.
Okay. Tell me why it's better for the citizens to keep the freeze.
Well, as we've just heard, that there is absolutely no guarantee that if you vote yes, that you will be able to keep your freeze. I have personally been in a room and asked Tyler Townsend if he could guarantee the statement, if you have it, you will keep it. And he said, no, there's no guarantees. The only guarantee that you will have is if you vote no on that last ballot item.
Well, what do you say? Go ahead.
There's the second issue of the second penny lost. That is, we are given that because we meet a criteria here in Columbus that no other town in Georgia meets. And that is because we are a consolidated government, and two, we have the tax freeze. If we lose either one of those criteria, then we do not have the authority to collect that penny lost. That penny lost
and lost
$35 million into our budget.
For those who are not familiar,
$24.5 million to public safety.
Okay. Lost is the local option sales tax, is what she is referring to.
Another thing that I think people don't understand is it readjusts.
Right.
That so when the house sells, then it readjusts to that new price.
Right.
So yes, the taxes that the person that's selling and the taxes that the person buying, they're going to change based on the sales price.
Exactly.
But it's not based here in Columbus, it's not based on the fair market value per se, because the fair market value is relative.
It is.
To what the tax assessor says.
Exactly.
To what your neighbor bought for their house or things like that. That doesn't necessarily mean that your house should change to the fair market value. It doesn't happen that way with stocks.
Exactly.
It doesn't, like if you're in the grocery store, your tax, what you pay on the taxes you pay on your groceries
is
shouldn't
different.
be based on how much somebody else in line paid for their groceries.
And I would definitely agree with that, because they have a buggy full of crab legs, salmon, and filet mignon, and I'm over here with chicken, turkey legs, and hamburger meat. No, it's a true story. My daddy used to say that in the store, so I'm standing over there looking at them like, oh wow. So I mean, really, I just tell people,
if we don't help them understand, then they will be fooled by someone who wants to get rid of it.
Exactly, and when they get rid of it, it's like a credit card with that's unlimited. Every time they need money, they can just go swipe it. And then your taxes will go up, up, up. And I want to make sure I share this. You can have a home that has been paid for by you, your mother, your grandmother, with no mortgage. If you cannot pay the taxes, they will auction it off.
But understand, if it's not homesteaded,
right,
then it is based on the fair market value.
Right.
This only protects a homesteaded property, your primary residence,
not your rentals.
Right. So if you've inherited the house,
Right.
you have to go down there and you have to file
Right.
homestead exemption on that house as your primary.
If you're living there and that's your primary
If you're
house.
living there and it's your primary house.
And if it's heir property, you know, that's another sticky thing. And my great friend, probate judge Mark D'Antonio, and if multiple heirs are on it, you still have a responsibility if the other people don't pay their portion of the tax to make sure the taxes get paid, and you just try to figure it out with your relatives later, because if not, it ends up on the sale list. They sell it, somebody buy it, and you don't own it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and then you even talked about not only just in the heir property, they got to keep it up, because then if they put a demolition notice on there, then you got to pay the back taxes and then the demolition fees. So
it just puts you deeper and deeper in a hole trying to get it.
Figure it out.
And it almost gets to the point where the only good thing that can happen to that, and I don't think that this is necessarily a good thing.
You might have to walk away.
Is they might have to walk away, and it goes to the land bank.
Exactly, and then the investors go to the land bank.
That's not good for the city. That's not good for the property owner.
Right, the family, the heirs, and then them waiting for all that to happen to come before you in your other life as city council person. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So I think we have agreed we have to do this. This is the season to plan something. Let's educate the community. If people come, they don't. We're certainly, when we do that for our viewers, we're going to video it so that we'll have a digital footprint, and people can go out to our YouTube and watch it over and over, and then we can say, for the record, because documentation beats conversation every day, that we did that. As we did with the freeze.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good.
Right. And you worked very hard, even after the freeze, to help people with their assessments, to make sure that no one was losing their property unfairly, which was not a part of your job. That was something that you wanted to do.
Well, true.
It's a part of the citizens.
Right. I mean, I want to serve the citizens, and it does kind of help my job in a way, too. I mean, because
but you were helping people.
An informed citizen is a good buyer and a good tenant and a good seller
and a good citizen. But what my point is, you were helping people that were not in your district, because I know you spent some time down at our church at the time,
that was
Posey
before.
Chapel.
Yeah, that was before I was a city councilor.
person.
So I mean, I don't, and even now as a city councilor, I take care of my, but I don't. When I answer the phone, I say, "Are you in District 5? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you."
No, you help everybody.
No,
Someone told me
if they
that.
call me, I'm just going to take care of them.
Yeah, and if you can refer them where they need to go, then you do that. Because I've been told that about you. Because I'm always checking.
I know you are. You keep me in the straight and
right.
narrow.
But no, I just want to make sure. So when I have to speak on your behalf, I'm speaking to the facts, and that's just the way I roll.
Yep.
Well, I thank you so much for this visit today in District 5, where we live. It has really been a pleasure, but it is always our goal to educate and inform the citizens. And I thank you so much for what you have done in the past before you were ever an elected official, and what we are going to do in the future. All right.
Look forward to it.
All right, let's do it. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.